You ready, Melissa? Okay, I'd like to call this council meeting to order. It is 7 p.m. on September 17th, 2024, and I'd like to welcome you all. Sherry Tice, President Pro Tem, sitting in for President Keller this evening. Mrs. Burns, would you please read the roll?
Hedges.
Here.
Tice.
Here.
Plitzka.
Here.
Hallinan.
Here.
Moats.
Here.
Brooks.
Here.
Duval.
Here.
I invite everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and you're welcome to join us in the invocation that will follow if you wish. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Council members should have received the minutes from the September 3rd council meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve. So moved by Tom Duval,
Second.
seconded by Zach Brooks. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Are there any reports from council members this evening? Well, we did have a strategic planning meeting earlier this evening, and there are two pieces of legislation that will be forwarded to the next council meeting. I would also like to mention that we have two openings on the Historic Review Board. Anyone interested in serving on that board should fill out an application on the city website. The link is at the bottom of the homepage. We are accepting applications until September 27th. We are pleased to have several city officials with us this evening, including our mayor, Michelle Blanton, our law director, Kendra Kinney, and our auditor, Mark Bidwell. Do any of you have reports for the council?
I do not.
Thank you, President Pro Tem, Ms. Tice. At this time, just to give everybody an update, on last Wednesday, I had the opportunity of representing the city in a full-day arbitration hearing. So obviously, my office has been busy working with Employment Council on that. It is the first time, I guess, in a significant period of time that the Law Director's Office handled the actual arbitration. So hopefully that kind of gives us some insight going forward on things that we can aid in our employment law areas. Additionally, my office continues to offer support to law enforcement agencies with regards to law enforcement issues, laws, changes, policies, and so forth, including advisement on the scene. So while we might not have a lot in terms of council's agenda, there are lots of things going on with the city. And then ultimately, I've begun, I guess, the preliminary discussions and legalities for Pumpkin Show that's coming on. So lots of busy things going on. Just kind of wanted to keep everybody updated. I know there's some other key projects out there that we're working on, but it's been a busy whirlwind the last 2 weeks.
Thank you for all your work. Mayor Blanton?
Yes, I have several updates. Council has appointed me to serve on the Region 9 One Ohio Foundation Board, if you will, to represent our city. And so I just wanted to give you an update from that. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago where we gave our recommendations to the One Ohio Foundation Board for people in Region 9 who applied for grant funding. We sent those names of companies and projects up to the foundation for their final approval for the awarding of that money. Again, those dollars are money that have been awarded from the settlements from the opioid epidemic, funds from Pfizer and other people. And so just an update from that. The process by which we evaluate those applications is changing, and so it'll probably be to where I will be representing mostly in a virtual capacity, not necessarily an in-person capacity anymore, because the makeup is just changing a little bit. in how that is executed. So I wanted to give you an update on that. The Farm to Plate dinner was 2 weeks ago, and so we were able to take part in that with P3. On the same evening, Ohio State University, a city planning class was here with PICA to do an evaluation on their project. That was a front page, I believe, of the newspaper, the Circleville Herald, and was also featured in the Scioto Post. So thank you for that. It's a really exciting project where these students are getting real life experience for something that's going on in a community right now, to where they can provide recommendations using the education that they're getting from Ohio State to provide recommendations for us. And so really excited to see what happens at the end of the year, or at the end of the calendar year when their semester is over. They will be bringing those findings both to Planning and Zoning Commission, and I have asked them to come and present to you as a courtesy so that you are aware and so that you can see the work that they have done. And that is for a project on Ohio Street on the PICA property. I was able to celebrate with the Pickaway County Board of Developmental Disabilities for their direct support professionals recognition. I was able to attend their event out at Roadhouse 56 to recognize the work that those service providers have with our Board of Developmental Disabilities. The District Advisory Committee for the Health Department met last week, and they have established their executive committee, by which the executive leader of the largest municipality sits on. And so by virtue of my place on the DAC, I will now be on that executive board. So I wanted to let you know about that. Ohio Christian University celebrated or recognized 9/11 with their Lest We Forget event. It was attended by about 200 people out at OCU. The Pumpkin Show Band and the Circleville Barber Shop Chorus performed during that. We had a speaker come in who was a former Marine, Homeland Security, FBI, all of the named organizations he worked in, and he came and spoke about the need to support our local law enforcement agencies and safety forces in general. As the law director indicated, we've been doing some pumpkin show prep. We're about 3 weeks out, give or take a few days, depending on when you start actually prepping and when it starts for individuals throughout the community. We've been working with the Ohio Historical Connection on records retention. As the chair of the Records Commission, we've been looking into their policies and how we can make sure that our records retention schedules are up to date. I've given the task to all of the departments within the city to make sure that they're reviewing their records retention schedules, because we're going to be going through and evaluating them, and also doing records retention and destruction according to those schedules. This past Saturday night was the movie night at Ted Lewis Park. We had about 250 to 300 people come out and watch Elemental on the old, where the pool used to be. It was a great event. The weather was, you couldn't have had a better night for a movie in the park. Just want to shout out and give recognition to Hampton Inn, Ohio Health, Taylor Rental, Rural King, Zanzi's, Hannah Wynn, our city planner, Brenda Short, the mayor's assistant, Vineyard Church, the Pickaway County Public Library, and the Pickaway County Park Board for their participation in putting on a great event. Our safety forces were also present at that event. It was just a great night to be out at the park. I think that is all. So that concludes my report.
You've had a busy 2 weeks.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Do any council members have questions for our elected officials this evening? No? Okay. Would anyone in the audience like to address council? If so, please come to the podium and give your name and address. Go ahead. We're glad you're here. We appreciate public input. You have 5 minutes.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Doug DeBoard. My address, 242 Clark Drive, Circleville, Ohio. I know I'm here speaking to council and the people that are here, but I hope people that watch this on CGTV 5 share some of what I'm speaking about. I know the people that watch are a lot of the people that vote and are big in the voting community in our county, city. And I wanted to speak about the safety levy. I don't think that there's anything more important that our citizens and our residents could vote for. Been in law enforcement for 31 years. I think tax-wise, I know that people are spending money and we're asking them to continue spending some money towards the levy, but I don't think that there's anything more important. Maybe I'm a little biased, but from a community standpoint, there's nothing more important than having a strong police department and a strong fire department. With that, I just want to touch on it for a second. I hope the people watching, the people that are here in the room, appreciate what Mayor Blanton had to do at the beginning of the year. Making a change is tough. It can always be tough, especially whenever you have people involved that's worked for the city for a long time. It was probably, for a lack of better terms, but I think accurate, it was messy. It was messy for a second. It made it into the media, but the right thing was done. And I hope that as time has passed, that the citizens and the residents here of Circleville have seen that doing the right thing, and as adults, we all know doing the right thing's tough, and the right thing was done. And we're moving forward. The mayor, the law director, council, you've all been making hard decisions. That's moving our city forward. And I can tell you as a resident of Circleville, and I don't plan on going anywhere. This is my second stint here. Hopefully my final stint. I love this city. And I just think that looking at where we're at now, we have a new safety director who's immensely qualified. I know that Paul Pride, a retired colonel from the Highway Patrol, was hired as a consultant. You have two people right there who's given their lives to law enforcement, who is going to pour their knowledge and their experience into whoever the next chief is. And hopefully he grabs a hold of that opportunity to glean from them whatever that he can get to become the best chief, or she, whoever it's going to be, that they can be for our city. There's a wealth of knowledge there. There's a wealth of information that can be gathered from those two gentlemen that our city will be able to use and benefit from. So as a resident here, I thank you guys, thank the mayor, appreciate the hiring that's going on. And I just think that has set the city on a great path. And I appreciate that. So again, I just ask that the residents, anybody that is watching this, hears this, you guys talking or encouraging people to vote for the levy. The safety levy needs to be passed so that our safety force can stay strong. Our city's growing, as everybody in here knows, and it would be nice to be able to have that dedicated funding continuing to keep strong safety forces and allowing our community to grow. How much time do I have?
Couple minutes.
Okay. I know that our department is full of very, very good people, the police department. I was part of helping to hire some of them, and know that they are trying to do the right thing. And, you know, I know that they are out doing the Lord's work, if you will, right now. They're keeping our city safe. I don't know that many of us have many complaints. They're still fighting crime and suppressing evil, if you will. So I appreciate that. And the leadership that is coming, the decisions that have been made is just going to continue to make this department get where it needs to be, because we have people that want to do the right thing. With that, I didn't want to make this all about the police department either. Obviously, the fire department, I'll be honest, in my 31 years, this is probably the best fire department that I've been around. I know from hearing that there were issues in that department, just like any city, things ebb and flow. And there were some issues. Brian Thompson came in, Chief Thompson came in, and I don't know that we could be more proud of our fire department right now and the job that Brian has done. With that, I appreciate our fire department too. I hope the people listening and council, people in here continue to support Mayor Blanton as she has to make tough decisions, and you as council have to make tough decisions. I want to say personally, thank you. I appreciate the work that all of you are doing. And I think it's November 5th, right? And early voting starts. I just want to ask that the residents of Circleville consider voting for the levy. It's a tax cut from what we're paying now. And I just think that it's very important. And I appreciate everybody's time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and
I
sharing your
appreciate it.
thoughts. Anyone else like to address council? Please give us your name and address. You will have 5 minutes also.
Yes, my name is Dave Horning. I live at 569 Plaza Drive. And I've been informed by Josh Cross, who's the owner of JC Stone Landscaping, that he is coordinating with the probationary department to have a cleanup this Friday, the 19th, what would be the 20th, Friday the 20th at 9 a.m. They're going to meet at the police station. He has some people who are on probation who are going to join him. They've got about 5 or 10 volunteers right now, but this is a plea for anybody else who would want to help. Harbor Freight is donating materials, gloves and this kind of stuff, so to help the process. So just encourage anybody who can come on Friday, September 20th at 9 o'clock down to the police station and help clean up downtown Circleville.
All right, thank you. Appreciate the efforts. Please give us your name and address.
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm Marie Wilbanks. My home address, 2171 Patton Hill Road, Chillicothe, but my work address is here in Circleville, 200 East High Street. So good evening. I don't know. I know almost every person in this room, which makes me feel really great. It's so nice to see how many friends the DD community already has in here. But for those who maybe don't already know me, I am the current superintendent of the Pickaway County Board of Disabilities. If you're not familiar with our program, so we serve people with disabilities, birth all the way through life, depending on eligibility. So we serve a wide range of people, just like what we're discussing tonight. There's a lot of growth in this county. There's a lot of growth in this community. We're experiencing the same thing. I'm actually not here for any particular reason, though. I don't need anything. I don't want anything. We're not on the levy, or we're not running a levy. I am really here because we want to be good neighbors as the County Board of Disabilities. We want to be good neighbors. We want to know everybody in this room because we serve a population of people that don't necessarily get a lot of access to our community. And the way that we make that happen is through inclusion. So we want you to know us. We're a resource. We're here. And we hope that you do come to us when you have questions, concerns, even something as particular as, hey, can I talk to you about this person? But if you have larger questions too, of course. So wanted to introduce myself and thank you for having me here tonight.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for coming.
So, Sherry, if I can.
Yes.
I say there are a lot of really good organizations in Pickaway County that do a lot of really good things. If you have not seen some of the things that group of people does, they are doing God's work, let me tell you. They do some really, really incredible things. There's also some very good volunteer opportunities. So I would encourage you to follow them on Facebook because there's a lot of things that you can do regardless of your ability, financially, your physical ability. There are a lot of different things you can do. So I would encourage you to support them in any way that you can.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming this evening to say hello. Anyone else like to speak this evening? Okay. Mrs. Burns, do we have any communications?
No.
Do not. All right. Is there any legislation this evening?
Yes.
Please read the first resolution.
A resolution authorizing application submission and local match commitment in support of the Railroad Crossing Elimination Grant Program and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. This resolution was reviewed by the Committee of the Whole. It is to officially approve submitting an application to eliminate one of our railroad crossings by building an overpass, also known as grade separation. This is our commitment to provide the money that is required as a local match. Mayor Blanton, can you please tell us again what the overall cost is projected to be and how much the city will be responsible for?
So based on our projections and the amount of money that we're asking for, the city's responsibility will be 10%, or about $2 million.
About $2 million. And I believe Auditor Bidwell, is this something that we are going to prepare for?
Yes, so what we're going to do is we're going to be setting up what's called a sinking fund, and basically we're earmarking dollars for, I believe it's 2 years to get to that $2 million amount, and basically setting it aside and having it ready.
I think the ordinance asks for 2.5 million. I think there's a buffer depending on what the costs come in, but there was a buffer added. Obviously, it's the match. So, but I want to make that clear that the ordinance says 2.5. It's not a discrepancy. It's just the anticipated, I believe, is 2 million. But in case there's a buffer that's needed, since we have an obligation to match, that's why it's 2.5.
Certainly, we always seem to see costs go up. And this, I'm sure, will be no different. So one other question, when is the grade separation report with the recommendations for that location expected?
That's a great question. I don't have all of the details of that, but I can find that out and report that back to council. But I will say that this week, the service director and I will be visiting the Ohio Rail Development Commission as they consider our application for the funding that we are asking for through their organization. That meeting is Thursday. And so we will be going to Columbus to present our case, if you will.
Excellent. Any questions about the ordinance or the process?
Yeah, I had a quick question for Mark. You said funds will be put into what kind of
It's called a sinking fund.
sinking fund?
It's just the terminology it's used,
And-
and it's a fund that is set up for a specific purpose and not to be spent on anything else. And that's going to be set up once all the legislation goes through, and we'll find out how much we need to do and time limit, time frame to put those funds in there.
What part of our budget do those funds come from? Where is that income coming from?
Well, I mean, it's going to come from the general fund. It's basically what it's going to come from, but there's been talk about using some of the funds from the JED revenue from Sofidel,
Okay.
where we're going to be getting about $300,000 a year more than what we. So that is a thought process, but it's going to right now at this point it's just going to be coming from the general fund and taken out from just the general use.
Okay. That was all.
Very good. It's like a dedicated savings account for us then.
Yeah.
There you go.
Anything else? Is there a motion to suspend the rules?
Motion.
Okay, by Mrs. Hedges,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Brooks. Mrs. Burns, please call the roll.
Hedges,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Blitzka,
Yes.
Hallinan.
Yes.
Moats.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Duval.
Yes.
A motion for adoption
I'll make that motion,
by
please.
Mr. Blitzka,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Moats. Mrs. Burns, please call the roll.
Hedges.
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Blitzka,
Yes.
Hallinan.
Yes.
Moats.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Duval.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
So assigned 09/67/2024. An ordinance waiving the requirement that the Director of Public Safety become a resident of the city within 6 months of appointment to the position of Director of Public Safety under certain conditions, and repealing ordinance number 0852/2003 and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. This ordinance was reviewed by the Safety Committee. Mr. Hallinan?
Yes, thank you. This ordinance is repealing the prior ordinance that said that the safety director had to live within the city limits. It's aligned, as we've talked about, with several of the positions with a state code, which we were more restrictive than the state code was. So we did this to make sure we could get the best candidate possible at this position, like we did with the chief of police and the service director.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments about this ordinance? Okay.
Motion to suspend the rules?
We have a motion to suspend the rules by Mr. Hallinan, seconded by Mr. Brooks.
Hedges,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Klitschko,
Yes.
Hallinan,
Yes.
Moats,
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Duval.
Yes.
Is there a motion for passage? By Mrs. Hedges, seconded by Mr. Duval.
Hedges,
Yes.
Tice.
Yes.
Klitschko.
Yes.
Hallinan.
Yes.
Moats,
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Duval.
Okay, motion carried.
Business assigned 09/68/2024.
That brings us to our new business portion of the evening. Do we have any items of business we need to discuss? No? Okay. I
Motion
will
to adjourn.
entertain a motion to adjourn by Mr. Hallinan,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Brooks. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you for being with us.